Today is Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have watched the first one, which came out last week, but just to recap, this is a three movie event that Netflix is doing, and every part is coming out every weekend. So the first one came out last weekend, and we talked about it, here on the channel, and both of us liked it, but we thought that some of the dialogue and the writing was bad, but it still was enjoyable, and the horror was great. It was, the slasher aspect was awesome. Um, there was a lot of violent and gory scenes. That was cool, and I did not expect that. So before we, talk about this movie, let's get you guys' thoughts on what you thought about the last one.
Oh man, I was surprised with the last one. I I'm a huge horror buff, and when it comes to 90s horror, like especially with Scream, those type of slasher films, it felt like a great homage to it, especially the first 10 minutes with what they did. I'm trying to remember the actress's name. It's gonna kill me right now. But essentially, they had her as top billing for the film, but she was only on screen for a few minutes. So it's kind of like what happened with Drew Barrymore with Scream One. Like she was on the poster, she was on everything. She got killed off in the first 5 minutes. So I'm like, pretty good. But then, other than that, the horror aspects are really good. A lot of pretty nice jump scares. I thought they were going to play it safe, especially since these were literally high school kids that they brought on. No, the last 20
Yeah,
minutes, my jaw dropped. I knew who was gonna go. Like my wife hates it when she watches these movies with me because I'm gonna tell her yeah, this one's gonna die, this one's gonna die. He's gonna survive. Oh fuck! They just they had sex in the back. Dead, dead, dead.
yeah,
She's like, no, they can't. I'm like, yeah, they turned on the machine. She's gonna go through it. Oh, and they did. I didn't think they were. I didn't think they were going to show that aspect. I'm still recovering from that. Like, wow.
exactly.
Yeah.
Philip, have you seen it?
I actually have not. I've lived this series through Twitter mostly. I've been very busy with work and a bunch of other stuff, my podcast and other things. But I'm looking at it now, and this is definitely up my alley. I mean, part two set in 1970. It looks like set 1978. The first one in 1996. So, and I'm a huge fan of Scream. I'm a huge fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, a lot of horror movies just in general. So this really does look a lot like it would be up my alley. I mean, even the thumbnail we've got up here, it looks like it's like sack face Jason kind of.
Yep.
Okay, so that's hella cool. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'll definitely check this out. I feel really really bad that I haven't seen these because this definitely is super up my alley. 'Cause I'm a huge horror fan, but I'm happy to hear you guys talk about it. So spoil away. Cool with that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I haven't seen part two. So
yeah,
careful.
yeah. I won't be spoiling
Okay,
this.
sorry.
But yeah, it's awesome to see. Like you said, Alex, I was not expecting they will go full on with the kills and all that, but they did. And some of the characters that you might think that, wouldn't die actually end up, you know, dying or not dying, depends on what you.
No, dying in a gruesome way.
Yeah.
I knew they're gonna die, but not in that
Yeah,
way
and especially
whatsoever. And especially, this is an Earl Stein series of books.
yeah, and also especially showing that on screen. Like I thought that how they usually allude to a gruesome death, but then they cut away when it actually happens. No, not in this one. They actually show you all the way through, and that's just awesome.
Yep.
In part two, 1978, I'm not going to say who dies, but there's a scene where the killer has a sledgehammer, I think or not sledgehammer, axe,
Yeah.
and he hits them in the chest, and he does it repeatedly, over and over again, and the person is dead, but the killer keeps doing it, and we get to see every single hit.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh, wow.
hard to look at.
Nice. Now, have you guys seen any of the Friday the 13th movies? Because this one looks like more of an homage to part two with sack-based Jason.
Yeah.
I own parts 1 through 8 in DVD. I'm a huge fan of that franchise. Friday the 13th is one of my favorite horror franchises. I'd actually probably give it the edge over Nightmare on Elm Street, but I do think that Wes Craven is a much better director than a lot of the Friday the 13th films overall. I mean, the films themselves are a great series because they're just like really great schlocky horror films, and Jason changes over the course of every single one, and the stories like evolve and become their own different things. And they take the franchise in so many different ways. My favorite one is probably part 2, 3, and 6, definitely.
Okay.
But the sack face burlap sack face Jason. There we go. That's always just been a really fun image for me, and with the axe too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. No, because it's funny because a lot of people always forget that Jason started off with the sack face. Well, actually, no. Like he started off as the young kid jumping out of the water at the end of the first one.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, in last week's one, right? So these three stories tied together, all three of them. There's one dropping every single Friday. Basically, the origin is from a witch, and she casts this kind of spell or curse on a town, a shady state.
Oh, okay.
So every so many years, she'll possess somebody to be a serial killer, and that's basically what happens. And in last week's one was kind of modern day, and we get to figure these teenagers figure it out. And so that's basically what it is. So we got to see every single one of the killers in the first movie. And somehow the witch is able to bring them back to life, or whatever way it works.
Yeah.
I'm sure, supernatural way. And so in 1978, this one we get to see one of the killers, the origin of this killer, how the witch brought this one to life, and then there's a few other ones kind of thrown into it as well. So
That's nice.
But yeah, it's awesome. But just the plot for this one is just from IMDb is Shadyside, 1978. School's out for the summer, and the activities of Camp Nightwing are about to begin. But when another Shadysider is possessed with the urge to kill, the fun in the sun becomes a gruesome fight for survival.
Yeah.
Brilliant plot. But yeah, this one was it was 10 times more gruesome than last week's one, Casey.
I don't know if IMDb has it correct, but they do have a title for part 3.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's
1666.
1666.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Look, firstly, I thought that this movie was even better than last one's. Especially, well, some of the deaths in the last one, especially the bread cutter one, I think that cannot be topped. But apart from that, I would say overall, like from scares, from story, characters, everything else, I think this movie was even better. And I loved the Nick Good character in this one. He's a young, cool dude in this one, whereas he was kind of like a nerd in the previous one. The Sheriff Good character, and
Yeah, that character, they were in the first movie
Yes.
as well, and then we get to see them kind of 30 years
As a kid,
earlier
yeah.
or 20 years earlier, whatever it is. Yeah, and then so there's actually two characters from the first movie are in this one, but younger versions of them. So
Yeah.
you get to see how they're tied together with this witch and the killers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I thought it was
I
awesome.
loved that part.
I'm wondering if they're going to use. Have you ever read any of the Fiercer books? Any of your three?
No.
No. Okay, so just remember that the sheriff's last name. I don't know if they touched upon it for part 2. If not, then it will be a plot point for part 3.
Who?
Sheriff Goodman. That last
Yeah,
name,
yeah.
just remember it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing we're going to see some sort of ancestor or something like that for these characters, because obviously they're not going to be a younger version of them because it's in 1666. But we do get to see. Well, I don't want to spoil that part. Actually, I won't say it. But yeah, this one I can't see. I think what was better this week was the actors.
Yes.
The actors were better. I think last week's acting
dude.
was poor, and for somebody who's, I'm not an actress, I can't really judge,
The-
but their acting was shit.
Yeah, the lead actress.
Compared to this
How do
week.
you make your lead
bad.
actress so unlikable? In the last one.
Yeah.
That was the major
Yeah.
problem for me. But this movie, that was fixed because most of the actors were great. And Sadie Sink is obviously, from Stranger Things, and she knows what she's doing. She's already had experience in this kind of a genre. So she was great, and the whole movie kind of revolved around her and two other characters that were also good, but super
Mhm.
super annoying. But I enjoyed that because I think they were annoying on purpose, and by the end we kind of feel bad for them. So that was again good writing in this episode, in this movie, and
The music as well
yeah,
was really good
yeah,
music.
You know what else
70s music.
just
Oh
you know
no,
what
the
just came
music
to
was
me?
great in the first
yeah,
one. I can't wait for this.
same, yeah,
It's part two is 1978. 1978 is not only when they had Friday the 13th. I don't remember which part, but they also had no, I'm wrong. Friday the 13th started in 1980. 1978 would be a homage to Halloween.
Hmm.
Yeah,
oh, that makes sense.
and there's
Yeah,
yeah,
because
there's
Halloween released in 1978.
there's a
Cool.
few scenes now that you could probably say they're a homage to it,
Yes.
as well as Jason, as well as maybe Freddy Krueger and a few ones like that. But yeah,
Really?
there's even one character we didn't get. I was actually disappointed in the trailer. We got to see this kind of like a kid in a baby mask or like
Yeah.
a baby.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know that
Yeah.
character? We didn't get to see much of that character.
I think
I
they're
want to
saving
see
all of
more.
that for the next one, man.
Oh.
Because even like I
Really?
said, by the end of the last one, I thought the teaser for this this movie was the best part of the entire
Oh,
movie. And even this time around, well, I wouldn't say it was the best part, but I loved the teaser. That is something that, if you like The Witch, the movie by
Oh my god,
yeah,
yeah.
if you like that movie, then next movie is definitely looking like it's going to be like that. And
yeah.
it's set in
It's Robert Eggers.
1666, so it's definitely
Yeah.
in that kind of style. And that's my favorite kind of thing because it gets more scary when you have all of that, and plus you already have a witch in this, so we'll probably see more of that, and also maybe the
Mhm.
other killers that they teased.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be the Avengers Endgame of this.
The origin. But Philip, what's pretty cool is because you haven't seen them yet, but at the end of last week's film, they show a trailer for the next one,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, that's what got us real pumped because like the movie ends and then this kind of trailer
Yeah.
plays and it shows you next week's film. You're like, oh, pumped! You can't wait. And this week's one, they show you a trailer for
Trailer
next
for
week's
the
one,
next
and
one.
the tone is completely
Yeah.
different. It actually to me it felt like that M Night film. Which one's it called? But the kind of the guy in the horse.
The Village?
The village, is it?
The
The
Village.
Village,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that bit. It just looks so creepy and so weird. So that was awesome. And also, there's characters. So we get to go back to 1978, but we also go back to modern day, where these characters are trying to figure out what's going. They're trying to stop the curse, basically. So it
Mhm.
kind of jumps back into the past, but also near the end, it goes back to the first characters' movies, and then the older version of those characters as well, talking about what happened in the past. So all three movies are pretty much linked together. So I'm interested to see what happens in modern day with the third one as well.
I think all the past stuff is more interesting to me than what's happening in the modern day. Maybe that's one of the big reasons is because of the characters in modern day. I didn't like them as much as I was supposed to in '94. But
Mhm.
78, I was fully on board. I love those characters. Some of them were really annoying, like I said, but the writing was good, so their character development was good throughout the movie.
Well, it's a horror movie. You always have to have that one annoying character.
Yeah.
But definitely, we recommend 1978. It's really gruesome and a lot of fun. It really is.
Absolutely.
And,
After hearing the concept, I'm definitely intrigued. I'm gonna have to check this out now because this definitely sounds like it's up my alley in my ballpark.
I think
Definitely.
I think they haven't, although they try to. I think they haven't marketed this event much to the general audience. They were kind of just showing the graffiti stuff and very minimal teaser stuff for this event, but just now when it's happening, it's actually getting more traction. So I'm glad that they are. I hope they are being successful in this because I think that they have something pretty good here. Especially if you consider the whole trilogy as one thing.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's kind of unique
Yeah.
for Netflix as well because this is a movie coming every single week.
Yeah. It's the
Mhm.
first
We haven't
time,
really
right?
gotten this from a streaming service.
And each one is different, set at a different
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
think it's
think
like the
they
first
could do
time they've ever done an anthology
Yeah.
like this. So,
Yeah.
And I don't no streaming service has done it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like this is something they could develop. I think there's a lot more stories from the book
Mhm.
they're not touching on. There's a lot.
No,
there's
no,
a lot, there's a lot
there
of
is.
books.
Yeah, this is
But they could
the
do this.
story. It's not really within the books. Like there's some characters from it, if my memory serves me right. But this is like it's totally new. So I was actually pretty surprised just seeing how certain characters were utilized for this. But they have something, and I hope this becomes like an annual thing, whether under the Fear Street line or something else, because this is something special.
Yeah, it
And
is.
Definitely.
I'm kind of like surprised that they released it for the summer. Like maybe around Halloween, this could have been. Yeah, I would have liked to see this in around the October
Yeah.
time because yeah. But I don't know. I guess they're just experimenting
Yeah.
to see if like maybe they could get some traction for it.
Maybe they've already got another one lined up for Halloween. I don't know. I doubt
Most likely,
it.
it might be
Yeah.
I think it might be Stranger Things 4.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their moneymaker right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year it was Adam Sandler's "You Be Halloween." That was their big kind of Halloween headline.
That's
That
surprisingly
was
good.
great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
I have not been a fan of like his recent stuff, but that
was
one
good.
it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. Yeah,
Co-sign everything.
and the
else you said.
callbacks too
Yeah.
was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sandlerverse. It's really that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But
What the-
no, because yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the last Sandler movie I remember really enjoying, like it was in a theater for grown-ups. It's the last one I really remember enjoying.
Yeah,
I that was the one I wanted to enjoy, but I couldn't get into it.
I feel like
I
it
don't know
helps
why.
because he's got all of his buds there.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. All his movies, it has all his butts. So you got it.
but like I love Sandler and so do my brothers and sisters, and like when a Sandler film comes out, it's like an event. It's like
Mhm.
it's like the Avengers movie coming out. We just sit down and we all watch it, and we had a blast with Who Be Halloween. Thought it was hilarious. It's so funny. And the good thing about Sandler at Netflix is you're going to get 100% Sandler. You're going to get what you love
Oh, yeah.
about him.
I mean, come to recent memory with the Safdie brothers and Uncut Gems. That was
Yeah,
brilliant, in my opinion.
yeah. And he's going to be doing more weird kind of movies. I think he's playing an astronaut in a new movie where he goes to space. And he has like an animated side character or something. It just sounds weird. So he's doing comedy, but he's also doing some drama as well. So he's giving.
No, he's a great actor.
Yeah. But you should watch 1978.
Yes.
Next
Absolutely.
week we will review 19.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not-
I'm doing it now.
1666.
I keep saying 1966, 1666. I was actually surprised that they're going back that far, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's
Let's see what the
Quite the jump.
yeah, it is. But the teaser was fucking awesome, and I'm just excited for it.
Were you so excited about the teaser because it had so much lens flare?
No, actually,
You're going crazy.
actually, it's very
so
raw.
dark.
It's very raw.
All right.
Yeah. So it's just like The
budget
Witch.
Looks,
Oh,
That's Robert Eggers,
Yes.
isn't it? The Witch.
Yes.
Yeah.
even the cinematography
Yeah.
looks completely different
Yeah.
from the first two.
It looks like a movie. It doesn't look like a cheap, TV show like structure to a movie, but it actually does look like a movie.
mhm.
All three of them. So yeah, we definitely
They are.
recommend. Yeah, they are. We definitely recommend watching this trilogy. If you are into horror, we all definitely are. So we are loving this,
Mhm.
and yeah, so excited for the next one, which we will be covering on next week. Which we'll probably invite Alex again on.
No, it's even Phil too, because after if you watch us all three,
Yeah,
we should examine
Yeah.
every Easter egg that they have
Yeah.
and all the references to every horror film.
Yeah,
All
definitely
of
need
those.
that.
There's a lot of there's a lot of obscure ones that I've spotted that it should be like in a different discussion.
Yeah,